And we're very, very lucky to have Christos actually here this evening. Hi, Christos. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
So, Christos, maybe you could start just by telling us how this incredible project began. What inspired you to write this charming film?
Okay, well, this is always the most difficult question to answer because, you know, it's difficult to find just one moment where, or one reason or one source of inspiration or, you know, the exact origin of any story. So, you know, I think it kind of composed itself along the years. It's a screenplay and a project that I've been working on for 8 years. I mean, from the moment when I started writing down some thoughts about this story until now. And well, what I can say, however, was that the first element of the story that kind of I came up with was this gang of pickpockets that dance, or, you know, dancers that steal. So that was, you know, the starting point. So I came up with this idea, and for some reason I stuck with it. And then I started exploring the group. Who are these characters? What are the dynamics of this group? What is their hiding place? And then, you know, but, you know, for every, you know, I think you discover along the way that, you know, you get stuck with, you get obsessed with a certain idea because it allows you eventually to explore themes and characters that are meaningful to you. But so I understood that along the way. So
it's wonderful. And there's obviously a lot happening in this film, but I think that the romance between Nelly and Barbara, or Jonas, is one of the highlights of the film for me. I think it's very, very beautiful. And I think that they had fantastic chemistry as well. And I really love both of these actors. I've actually seen Elsa before in one of your short films called Loca, and she is just electric on the screen, I think. And not only did they have this chemistry in the romance, but I noticed that they also had this body chemistry as performers. How much did they have to prepare for this, for the dancing sequences?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because Phoevos Papadopoulos, who plays the part of Jonas, and then Barbara, I mean, he's an all-around performer, a dancer. He also acted before, but this was, I would probably say his first main, you know, big part in a movie. And Elsa is an actress. I mean, she has a more, I mean, she studied acting. She has a kind of a more traditional background in that sense. But you know, they had to. I mean, first of all, we rehearsed a lot with these two, and with everyone in the ensemble. We rehearsed for more than a year and a half.
Wow.
For this, which is, I guess, I understand that this rarely happens in films, but this is the way that I, you know, like to work. And this was the first opportunity that I had, because it was my first feature, to work extensively like that. So in terms of the characters, I mean, for this period of this 1 year and a half, for most of it, we weren't working on the script. So they read the script once in the beginning. They came into an office. They read the script, then I took the script away, so they didn't have it for the rest of this process. And then we would meet a few times each week, and I would bring different scenes that I had written that had nothing, you know, to do in the surface, you know, with the movie, but you know, there were scenes that would build the relationships between them, the actors and the characters, and eventually we worked on the actual script and the actual scenes and the dialogues just a few months before the shoot. So it wasn't just 1 year and a half on the script. In terms of the dancing, it was also a long time that they, you know, started, you know, working together and trying to find the right balance. And also, you know, it's interesting because, you know, in this context, the performances of Nelly and Barbara, they have to work for the characters, they have to work also for the situation. So it's this kind of thin line of also the choreographies that they had to really be very inventive, but without them being extreme in the sense that you wouldn't kind of believe that this is something that is, a bit more improvised, or in a sense, something that they come up with without them seeming like, dancers from a TV show, So it's a very thin line. So I also worked closely with the choreographer of the film. Chaley Jennings is her name. She's from the US, but she lives in Greece for a long time. She's done Eurovision, everything that you can imagine. So we took elements from this kind of modern day pop scene from the shows that could have been the influences of these performers, or of the modern day kids that watch TV and they kind of take an idea from X Factor or from one of these shows, and then they incorporate them into something new. And at the same time, they have to employ these old costumes that they find in Broadway. So it's a combination of different, of different references that we tried to fine tune to fit with the characters and the situation. So, yeah,
that's absolutely fascinating, and I think Jonas's transition is very interesting to me because. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I thought that it somewhat kind of echoes the transition of Greece as well, after going through many, many things, obviously, in the last decade. But could you tell us a bit more about that? Was that intentional to kind of have them together somewhat, or?
Well, I mean, the story was conceived and written in this period, which... for lack of a better word, has been a transitional period for Greece. And I think for Western culture, we don't, obviously when there's Greece has been an example of what can happen when there's a financial crisis. So it has been the headline. So that's more tangible, but we are, I think, still in a transition where we don't know exactly what the next phase will be, but I feel that. So in that sense, having at the center of the story a character who is going through this transition, which is into a territory which he hadn't anticipated, because also this is important for this character that it's not, and that's also why it's interesting that it's difficult to put a label on Barbara in terms of you can't I don't know if you can call her transgender or you can call her exactly drag. It's something. It's a very vague. It would be a very vague term, but so in that sense, all this has probably has been echoed in the film, the situation of Greece, but in ways that are not meant to be didactic in any way.
Sure. No, I absolutely love the ambiguity of Barbara and what she was what she was and what she was going through. I thought that was a really nice part of the film. And obviously a really big part of the film, and almost a character, I would say, was this building, which was such an interesting space. And I loved the colors, the shapes, the cinematography, also paired with Gabriel Yared's the soundtrack, who I didn't realize he actually worked on The Talented Mr. Ripley and a bunch of films. And it was such a big part of it stylistically. But I'm getting distracted with music as always. But I want to talk about the building. How did you find this Broadway complex?
Well, Broadway, it's a real place, but it's not as you see it in the movie. But it is entertainment complex that was kind of built in the late 60s and through the 70s and 80s and early 90s. It was kind of a meeting point and for people interested in culture, because there was in fact a theater and a cinema and a nightclub also, and then gradually and I think as Greece entered in its more globalized phase, and then there were these new multiplex, like village cinemas and all these, then suddenly this was, it seemed like something very old and not very up to, the moment, and I guess for this reason, among others, it started fading away, and then in the beginning of the 2000s, it closed down. I mean, most of the venues closed down. There's still, unlike the movie, there's still a theater in there that is open. But when I was looking for very early on, when I was looking for a place in Athens that could work as the refuge of this group, I was suggested by a friend who is also an architect to have a look at this place. And I went there and I was really amazed. And by the place itself, and then imagining what I could, add in there, and how I could, design a new Broadway on top of what was already there. So the final result is really, like the open air cinema, the rooftop. It's most of it is as we found it. We kind of, added touches of color and texture here and there, but that's more or less what I saw when I first went there, without the big billboard though, that we made the big Broadway sign. But the theater we made from scratch, and the backstage we made from scratch, and a lot of it we made from scratch in empty spaces inside of this entertainment complex.
Oh, it looked amazing, and I think you have somewhat of a gift for finding these places, because I remember in Kopaloka as well, it was almost like paradise meets a squat or something like that. It's such interesting worlds colliding. I absolutely love the scene with the stampede of drag queens chasing down the men. So tell us a little bit about the drag scene in Athens, where all of these working drag queens.
Yes, I mean, these are probably some of the best, at least, drag queens in Athens that are, performing regularly in nightclubs. And so, yes, I mean, I guess if somebody lives in Athens and knows the drag scene, they will recognize each and every one of them. The lady in the park with the two dogs. Well, it's a very well-known fashion personality in Greece that doesn't usually, go out into this kind of drag, but he's a very special character, so he's also like one of the cultural pop culture references in the movie, and other people also that probably, I mean, if you're not familiar with Greek culture, you won't know, but also the actor playing the concierge, the locksmith, he's also like kind of a legendary actor in Greece from a huge Greek soap opera, which would be the equivalent of Dynasty, where he played like the tycoon. And so it's interesting for a Greek person to see him play this part, so there are like elements that a person familiar with Greek culture will also get.
That's great. Well, we have a couple of people here tonight from Greece that are laughing a lot. So
so they know what I'm talking about.
They definitely got the references. On that note, maybe I will turn to our audience and see if anyone has any questions or comments for Christos. We will give you a microphone and. Yes, everyone.
Hello, I have a question. I would like to know how it was received in Greece, or if you already have some feedback.
Okay. Well, it's coming out in Greece in 2 weeks, so.
So
so the Greeks in the audience have had a preview that the people in Greece haven't had. So yeah, it's coming out and I'm really, really obviously excited and also very curious to see how it's going to be received in Greece. But yeah, we'll see.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Fingers crossed.
Is there anyone else that has a question or a comment?
So following up from my friend, make sure you make a run in Brazil. We have a huge drag scene base, and I love this kind of movie. It's going to be very successful there. And on top of that, I wanted to ask about the monkey. If plays some philosophical role, like what do you think is the representation of the monkey?
It's a great question.
Interesting. Well, the monkey is very, very important, and I mean, I don't want to. I mean, you can understand. I don't want to analyze it too much because I don't want to make it too tangible because there are various layers there, and but what I can say is that I mean, the whole thing about the monkey and the cage, and the monkey in the cage, the monkey out of the cage. I mean, the monkey is kind of also the other interesting thing, since you mentioned the Gabriel Yared, Ryan, the score, is that the love theme of the movie. We listened to it. The first time we listened to it is when the monkey comes out of the cage. So there are these things that are all planted there, and I guess they're meant to work without me, explaining too much about them. But it is very, the monkey is very important.
Sure. And how was it working with the monkey? Because they have this famous saying in filmmaking that don't ever work with children or with animals. So how was the monkey?
The monkey was great, actually. It was a lovely monkey, French monkey from France. Her name is Marie. Mm-hmm. And she traveled all the way to Greece, and we shot during COVID, so it became very complicated for her to arrive in Greece, and she couldn't go on an airplane. She had to drive to Greece. It was a big adventure for her, but when she arrived on set, we all took good care of her. And obviously, a monkey is a very demanding actor and will only work for 4 hours a day. So we had to work around that, and she was very good. She was very good. I was surprised, and
she's adorable. She's very great. Does anyone else have a question or a comment? No, I'm just purposefully staring at the Greeks in the audience like it's their obligation to ask a question, which I shouldn't. But maybe one more question. Yeah? Oh, great.
Yes. Kalispera. This is Yannis. So for me, being from Greece, I saw something new. I saw something that I haven't seen in the past years. We are away. We're living in Prague for many years, and I enjoyed seeing Athens with its original colors. Not the sunny beaches and what we see in cinema. The photography was amazing, but really made me feel like I rediscovered Greece. I rediscovered Athens, being away for so many years. That was amazing. What I will be interested in knowing is how the Greek audience, like a more conservative audience, will take this movie. And I really hope more and more Greeks watch it, because it really gives the real idea. And for us, it was like an oasis, like really seeing the true colors and true life with immigrants owning pizza shops and people come together in all places. It was amazing. More a comment than a question. Well, thank you very much for this.
Oh, thank you. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Thank you.
That was a wonderful comment. And anyone else? Comments, questions? Yeah, we have a few people. It's great.
I was just wondering if you would have any comments for us about the food, the chips, the milk, the gummies.
About?
The food that was.
So what do you want to know? What about the food?
Yes, but I think that yeah. No, because it was very repetitive, right? The milk there was a lot of milk in there. There was a lot of
milk. It's true.
Chips.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the milk. I mean, is this being broadcast online?
Yes.
So okay. So let's not talk about the milk then. But so you understand, the milk is very important for reasons that we shall not name right now. But you know, the gummies. You know, obviously, you know. I mean, each character basically has their own kind of special food. So the gummies are really more Rudolph's kind of food. So you see, each character, it was part of the also, you know, the preparation of the actors and the characters to find, you know, what each person, what each character likes to eat, and also being in Broadway, in this kind of you know, safe place where you can still eat forbidden food, you know, and you can eat as much of it as you want without anyone, you know, scolding you for it. You know, obviously eating too much gummy bears is not a problem. So yeah, but also I kind of enjoy watching actors, you know, characters consuming food you know, in movies. It's something that kind of grounds them and makes them very relatable. And it also happens in moments in the film that are very dramatic, and then suddenly, you know, they start eating. So it's also a way to kind of break the tension sometimes, as I think we also do as people. You know, when I'm very tense, I eat. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Thanks for the movie. It was great. So I had a question about one of the main characters. When he came back from prison, there is some kind of shift. He became this evil person, let's say, because it was not that obvious at first, and it was a bit more complex. Then there's the money. Then there's the scare. So I was wondering if it was purposeful, that if it was to give place maybe to the other romance, or if it was, yeah, because but it's maybe on my view, but I found it really like pushing, like this is the bad guy, and I was in a way kind of this is, because at first it was like a bit more complex, then yeah. But yeah,
I don't think I understood the last part of your
yeah, basically he was not evil at the first place, like bad person, let's say. Then it became
okay, yeah,
really,
okay,
yeah, he
well,
kind of pushed.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that in this story and in this movie, I'm not quite sure if there's well, no, I'm pretty sure that there's no absolute good or bad guy or girl, you know. So I mean, sometimes I also was writing this when I was like in my notes, that in this story the kind of a question is, if, let's say, it's we look at it as a film noir, in a sense that it's unclear as who is the femme fatale, you know. So is it Nelly, is it Barbara, or is it actually Marcos, you know? So in that sense, I think that all the characters are kind of balancing between you know, both extremes. So I don't think, in the sense that you can't find somebody that is absolutely an idealized kind of good character, then I don't also think that you can say that Marcos is absolutely the bad guy, because the whole idea is to see how people, and that's kind of a, you know, I guess it's more a kind of a philosophical viewpoint, that you can become the bad guy under certain circumstances, and even it's not, you know, I don't want it to see it as a predisposition of these people, you know, that they are predisposed to be good or bad. The situations and the you know, and obviously, you know, it's you know, survival, it can be narcissism, it can be a number of different things that lead Marcos in that direction. And obviously, I mean, he's the guy who stands, what he stands for eventually is oppression. So maybe he wasn't born a bad guy, you know, but eventually he becomes the one who wants to oppress the others, and he wants to, and especially when they've started actually discovering their authentic, they start discovering their authentic selves, you know. So that's when he becomes even more oppressive and even more, you know, toxic character. So, I mean, that's my intention, at least, to look at the complexity of these characters and not, you know, reach a verdict where somebody is either this or that, I would say.
Well, we have so many. I think this is almost a record for this cinema. Usually everyone is scared to speak, but everyone wants to say something. It's great.
Hello. I had a question about the last scene of the film when Neve is watching, is in the pizzeria and is watching on TV, and just before she recognizes Barbara, I felt like she's staring for a long time. Obviously, she's recognizing, but and right before she spoke with her coworker about her mother, and I was just wondering if the fact of watching professional dancers on stage and the main performer isn't a way of idealizing her mother or the career that she could have had. And I'm also asking this question because I'm a fellow dancer over here, and I have this feeling sometimes when I watch, I don't know, like a big ceremony, Tony Awards or something, and I'm like, I should be there instead of doing burlesque in Prague, which I love, but in the first place, I wish I had done something else. And I was wondering if she's wondering this.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. You know, I think that also, I mean, the obviously the mother being the original dancer in this story, which we never see, but and yes, obviously she's seeing what could have happened if things had, you know, been different, had gone in a different direction. And obviously, since it's up there on the screen, and the screen is also very high, it's not on her level, you know, it's really, you know, something that is larger than life. And the performer, I mean, the Greek people in the audience might know that the performer is actually a real, very famous pop star in Greece. So this also kind of bridges the story with reality. So it's like, this is because unlike the other people, as I told you, the other kind of pop cultural references that I have through other characters in the movie, they are part of the universe of Broadway. And then in the end, this is something which is really happening in the outside world. So this kind of, you know, bridging the world of fiction with the world of reality, in a sense. So yes, I agree with what you are saying.
Thank you. I have one follow-up question, actually, because yeah, my friend here mentioned the milk, and I was wondering if there's any relevance to the movie Leon.
The movie?
Leon.
Leon, the professional.
Yeah.
Luc Besson.
Okay, I've seen half hour of this movie only. So maybe, and it's not that I didn't like it, but I don't know, it was on TV, and then a long time ago, but it's one of those movies that everyone has seen, and I have not completed it, so I will watch it.
So probably no connection.
And then I have a second question. That's regarding the, I don't remember the name of the guy, but the one who owned the buildings in Athens.
Marabu?
Yes. So those buildings really exist?
Yes, I mean, they do exist. I mean, I don't know if they belong to Marabu in reality, but I mean, Marabu is fictional, supposedly. So.
Yeah, I thought so. I was just wondering like how that would be perceived by the owners of those buildings. Like probably.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know. It's not my problem if they relate to it. I just imagined it. So.
Sure. Yeah, I think I have one more question. It's probably going to be the last one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Okay, I'll do it.
I wanted to ask about the mother, because she and the main character, one main character mentions the beginning, and that's the film almost starts with a ballerina, and there's this frame structure where it almost ends with the mother being there again, a ballerina, and calling back, and the mom sends the bad guys to watch after her go and stuff like that. So I wondered what's the deeper maybe. Why is she there? And are we still in this psychoanalytical thing that the mother is the origin of all evil, and what she's guilty of?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as mothers exist, I'm sure that children will always hold them accountable for things. You know? So. Whether you look at it from a psychoanalytic point of view, whether you look at it from a point of view where it's something that is supposedly predestined, you know, in that sense, you know, there are various ways to look at it, and also I think that it's interesting because the film has now screened in kind of different places, and I see different reactions of, you know, on that. Aspect, which I guess also relates to the kind of to something cultural. So I think that Greeks. I mean, it's obviously depends on the person. I'm not saying that it's a truth for everyone, but I think we have special relationships with our mothers. So. We're a very good demographic for Freudian analysis.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we have time for one more question or comment. Yes.
I am stalking your IMDb page. And this is your first teacher, right? So
yeah.
I'd like to know about this crazy journey, which is probably much harder than
8-year journey.
Yes.
Yeah. It was. There were many moments that I could have quit, you know, in these 8 years. I guess this is not, making a first feature is, I guess, probably a similar situation for most people. Making a first feature in Greece, especially during these last years where things have been difficult, things with funding for cinema have been difficult, also added to the problems, then obviously it's a film that is a co-production. So in order for the film to be financed and funded, then we really had to find money from abroad as well, from France and Romania. And then COVID came, as if, we hadn't been through enough. And so, it was a big adventure, but the thing is that I never quit, and I kept going, and I was determined to make this film. So and I'm very happy that finally it's finalized, realized, and it's out there. But it was a big adventure. Hopefully the next one will be a bit a smaller adventure, hopefully. Never know.
I think all filmmakers who are just studying should take notes, because I think it's a lot about not giving up and persisting.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, Christos, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for screening the film. Thank you to everyone who attended tonight, and for all the questions and for all the comments. And it was very nice.
Thank you again, and congratulations.
Thanks, everybody. Ciao.